her what's going on, and there was just something that she said, and we're just a bunch of crybabies, and I just got choked up and I started crying. She goes, "What's going on?" I go, don't be nice to me. I said, "I'm thinking about my brother. He just passed away a month ago, and I'm just sitting here, I don't know what's wrong." The first words out of her mouth, "Let me get you something to take the edge off." I go,
Yeah.
I don't need the edge taken off. My brother died. It's only been a month. I can't believe one of my siblings passed away. No, and I fought her on it. She goes, "Nope, I'm going to give you this for your blood pressure, and I'm going to give you this." And I said, "No, I can't." She goes, "And these things don't work immediately. You have to take them every day." And I go, "I do not want to be dependent on that." And she said, "I really think you need this." Again, listen to my doctor. And what happened was, not only did I not like the effect of that, but because of the combination of these two drugs, started losing hair. I got psoriasis, my skin on my palms. It was terrible, terrible. And throughout the course of these months, and it was this drug interaction. But my point is, she was so eager to give me something, and I actually fought her on it. So I just stopped taking both of them, cold turkey. I mean, I was just like, it's not making anything any better. I lost my brother. I'm sad about that. I'll work through the grief on that. But what are your thoughts on that? I know we're trying to move away from that as physicians. They're not doing that, but that's what we grew up in. Here, this will make it better.
Hmm. Like I said, there's so many people that don't want to feel anything, and that's not being human. That's not human nature. That's not how we're supposed to function.
Right.
That's how we survive. Is getting through tough times, even good times. We can't always be, just blown out of the water having fun all the time. There's got to be a happy, medium there. And some of the, like you were saying, they're so quick to give you these medications. They get paid to.
Right.
That's the big one. Big pharmaceuticals is really, and that's neither here nor there. And I'm definitely not getting into that conversation. But the stuff in some of these drugs, I would rather do. I mean, and I'm being facetious and funny. I'd almost rather do street drugs. And you ever hear some of the side effects of some of these drugs? Well, your eyeballs might bleed, your ear might fall off, and you might lose a toe. But your headache will feel better.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I did want to talk to you about it, and I know we should just take that as a topic and run with it one day. But I remember in the 80s. So I graduated in 78, so I'm starting my career, whatever that might be, in the 80s. And I remember working for a company, and I was the manager of the billing and credit and collections and such. And we sold, all right, this is how old I am. We sold pagers, and that was a big deal. And it was something called cellular phones, not mobile phones, cellular. And so we were just getting into that. And we were losing our sales reps to something called the pharmaceutical sales. And the one guy I kept in touch with, and he continued on, they were being paid in the early 80s these ridiculous base salaries and these insane commissions. And I don't know if you've ever been in the doctor's office. I know that you probably frequent there. But while you're sitting there, somebody walks in, they want to see a doctor, they're selling them drugs. This, in the 80s, was huge. And you went in just like you were selling a car or anything else. Here's this drug. You got to try it on your patients, and we'll get a contract going. And people just didn't know it was a quick fix, and it's very unfortunate.
Oh yeah, they've come out. I mean, the pain medications that they have out today, just today alone, are more than ample enough for somebody writhing and dying in pain of a body filled with cancer. And next month, you watch, they'll come out with something stronger. What the hell? How much, is enough?
Right.
and it's just ridiculous and ridiculous. And there's no like
Yeah.
sanctions to it. There's
Yeah.
no
No
like
ceiling.
limitations. There's no, and it because the FDA is like it's a whole pissing contest. But the FDA is part of the pharmaceutical avenue of it. You're beating a dead horse.
Right. Because there's so
You
much
know.
money. I
Oh my God, that's what this country runs on.
Yep. Now I do want to
Period.
make a disclaimer. What's unfortunate is that just like heart disease or just like any other thing that could be going wrong with someone, diabetes or whatever, there
Sure.
are people that need managed medication to get through.
Absolutely.
Their brain is
Absolutely.
there's just something there. And just like I have high blood pressure and now I'm on medication, they have something going on. And so it's like, I'm just being very primary here. It's medication for the brain and it helps and they manage it. And I think that it is terrible that some of these people that need it to live to get through aren't doing it to overdose or not. And I say that, I'm really sorry I said that, but not doing it to overdo it to actually get.
No, you're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
I want that big ass disclaimer out there. And I feel for anybody and their the things that happen in your life to where you do become addicted to that. I mean, it's anything from cigarettes. I mean, that's something 100% legal and it kills
Oh,
it,
nicotine worse.
yeah, but I mean, and whether you smoke or not, it's an addictive substance and you can become addicted. So I want to make a disclaimer and apologize if I've said anything to anyone that might be insulting or whatever. What Todd and I are doing is I want to continue to bring to light. I call you, a success story and inspiration. But one thing I want to make sure you spend a few minutes on is that you're not past it. It's a daily thing. Share that with us, and that you're making choices. I guess is that the prescription to you getting through this? Help us through that.
My avenue of it, people get the misconception of alcoholism and drug addiction, and you have a lot of people say, well, it's a choice. You're right, it is. And it was. I chose at one time in my life to try drugs and alcohol. The problem is I have a little trigger in the center of my brain that doesn't know how to stop. Now, both of these avenues, whether it's alcohol or opioid medication, benzodiazepines, that Xanax, all these people that got their little anxiety issues and huff and puff and have a panic attack driving and have to pop a Xanax, to bring themselves down. Those are all severely addicting, physically addicting drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have a disease of alcoholism or addiction, you will become addicted to them physically. And you will detox from them when you stop taking them. Now, what I went through, the type of hell that I went through inside, going through this, I never thought was possible to get out of.
Okay.
And like you said about the daily things that I do, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's a fear-based thing, and that's my pride and ego. We've talked about this before. I am not asking somebody for help. I can do this. I'm a grown-ass man. Don't you know who I think I am? That kind of thing.
Right.
And that didn't work. That backfired horribly. And I had a lot of amazing men. I had a lot of amazing people in general, men and women, down the road, and I still do today. Do I think about the drink or drug? Is it a problem in that avenue today? Not right this minute today, but it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why my daily reprieve is contingent on the maintenance of my spiritual condition, which keeps me in a closer contact with a higher power, a God of my choosing, a God of anybody. This is my story, and people can have however they want. They can be atheists. They can be whatever they want. Something bigger than me that I look at and look up to turn my will and my life over to each day. Because I've come to the understanding that I really stink at doing things by myself. I really stink at making soul decisions, rash decisions, life decisions, whatever it may be, without the consultation or praying about it or looking at it from a positive and loving avenue.
Yeah. That's
And my higher power to me is the universe and love. Period, point blank.
yeah. That's
And I just live life. I live life, and it's not this, I got to run to work and I got to do this and all this baloney bullshit stress that I used to put myself under. And just driving to work, I'd have, my blood pressure was probably 200 over 180 because of the traffic, and I'm throwing stuff, and I need coffee, and it was just chaos.
yeah.
You know what? Last night
Anarchy.
I went, blasphemy, And, last night I went over to a friend of mine's house, I went over to Sarah's house, and she walks the neighbor's dog across the street. And I took her dog, and he's a big old Mastiff, and his name's Jack, and I call him Cheeseburger Jack, and there's a story behind that. But he's this big old Mastiff. He's 9 years old. He couldn't be sweeter. And we just went for, a little over a mile walk around the block and just talked on a beautiful evening, just for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. Quit doing coulda, shoulda, woulda. Get your ass off the couch and just go for a walk. Go look outside. Sit outside. And not go, man, I wish I was doing this, or I want to go. Just do it. Just go.
Yeah.
Just like your vacation. You took that alternate route. Man, that couldn't have been a neater, cooler thing to experience.
I'm telling
Something
you.
different. It wasn't that much out of the way. But people would have flipped shit because that broke their itinerary of going, we got to go through this tunnel. This is the way it says. I planned it. Da, da, da.
Yeah. No, and it really, you're speaking of this alternate route that my family took on our way to something as simple as Virginia Beach. And there were a lot of things that came from that, in that the reason why we had to do it is there were several people that had whatever they were doing altered because there was a multi-car accident. And by the grace of technology, my daughter was able to navigate us through. We went at least 25 minutes out of our way to even begin this alternate route. But it all just vanished. All the traffic, all the fear, all the everything. And you're absolutely right. And we can relate that to our day. I love lists because of where I work, and I love to make lists of things to do. And there was a time in my life when getting a shower was on that list of things to do for a Saturday. So you can imagine, where I was and how much I like to cross things off. I know, right? Dishes was on my things to do. These are things that have to take place, but I loved doing that. And we do that. We plan our day. And please do plan your day. Please do have an idea of what you would like to accomplish, but don't be afraid of the other things that can change that, alter that, put you in a different place, because
prioritize.
Yeah, those are the minor things. Those are because tragedy can hit. Yesterday, I got a text from a very, very dear friend, and they just found out her husband has full-blown cancer. And it just knocked me right to you would have never known it. It's almost along the lines of you're saying with the other, your friends with the perfect life, the marriage, the house, all American and everything. This is the perfect aging couple. We're all in our 50s, late 50s. All right, fine. But we're all moving on into that era very young. We're all very young. At this late 50s. We feel great. Everybody's paying attention. And it could not happen to a nicer couple. So those are the things that you're like, my day was this, and then I found out this, and now what do I do with this? And my God, how are they getting through this? Because it's sudden. I just saw her a few weeks ago. So it's but you are right, Todd, and it's how we react to those things.
Well,
And
not only that, that scenario